Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hello, Cinema Peeps!
Hello, Cinema Peeps! Happy New Year!
Yar. And look, you get to look at our faces. Isn't that a treat?
Also, I look white as a ghost compared to you.
You do!
So, this is beautiful.
And considering I'm the one who lives in the dungeon, I look like I have a nice tan, so thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
I was gonna say, look, you look refreshed, you look like you were away in the sunshine. Me, I feel like we should be reversed.
Yeah.
Like, you should be in this environment and I should be in yours. It would make most sense, but...
Yeah, with all my posters and nerd memorabilia everywhere. Yeah, makes total sense. What was my thought? So yes, as you can see us now.
Hooray!
Really, this is more of a treat for Kendrick, so now I have to force myself to look presentable. Normally, it looks like I just rolled out of death, and I was like, all right, let's record a podcast!
Usually we both do, though, but today we both tried to, look a little less horrifying.
Texting, hi, so, I'm just trying to, fix myself, and you're like, yeah, same boat. just trying to do something.
I'm sure, everybody's like, you know what, no judgment, because everybody's kind of in the same boat right now. No one's really has the energy or effort to want to, fix themselves up, but it's like, hey.
I would love to live in that mindset, but I don't believe it. I think people will still be as judgmental as usual, because that's the world we live in. Beautiful song. But, yeah, it is 2021!
Woo! So long, 2020.
Yeah. We haven't done these in a while. What the fuck should we talk about?
Man, well, I was gonna say we might as well just start off with asking, what have you been watching since the last podcast, since last season? Well, we can call it last season. We're fancy that way.
We're real fancy. What did I watch? Watched a lot of Christmas films, obviously. That's the go-to. Yeah, we had a lot of, Christmas movie nights with the fam jam.
Nice.
We've started watching this one. It only came out, I think, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, called The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Starring the guy in The Beast in Downton Abbey. Can't remember his name, but that guy. That guy.
Nice.
Honestly, I find it rather entertaining. My mom really likes it. She always says, it's very creative. Because it's all about the story of the man who wrote The Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. And I do wonder, how much, obviously, there's probably a lot of creative license there in terms of, obviously the events can't be super true, if that makes sense, but it is entertaining to watch and see kind of, the gears in his head move. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, some of the stuff is true. There's, a scene where he writes down, if he finds unique names. I feel that's probably pretty easy to fact check to see if he ever did do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's very creative and it's a fun watch. It's one of our newer kind of Christmas films that we watch now. I kind of caved because I got free month of Prime for Amazon shipping stuff.
Nice.
And then eventually I just bought a year's worth because there was a bunch of stuff my family wanted to watch. And I was like, well, if we're still locked down, might as well. I mean...
More content.
Right? It's not that we have the Netflix and the Disney Pluses, we need another thing. So yeah, past 3 nights we've been watching stuff off of there. We started with Palm Springs, because we finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so my mom was like, oh, this could be really good, and the paper gave it 5 stars. And I was like, oh, well, if the paper...
The paper?
Yeah, if the paper says so, well, fuck,
That's legit.
better get it rolling. I mean, it's also produced by Andy Samberg. I kept calling him Adam Samberg for 30 minutes. My mom's like, that's not right. And of course, I can't hear myself, so I'm like,
yeah,
it's Adam Samberg. It's not. It's truly not. I'm just
so close.
Ugh. But yeah, and then what was it? Then after that, we watched Knives Out, and then we watched Brittany Runs A Marathon.
Nice. Oh, how was Brittany Runs A Marathon?
It was good. It was funny. Definitely some hit too real moments, and you're like, oh god, no. As the struggles of trying to lose weight, and you're like, oh god, that's too real. weird fact. Apparently, did you know SpiderMan produced this film?
Like actual Spider-Man or like the actor?
Actual Tobey Maguire. Apparently he has a film production company that I had never heard of, and this is the first film I guess they produced.
Wow, interesting.
Or maybe. Asterisks, I don't know. I know when I was reading about it, they said it was one of the first films that they kind of accepted on the spot just based on a pitch. They hadn't really wrote a script for it yet. I thought it also said it was the first film, but I could be wrong about that.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
But yeah, it was really funny. There was also there was this moment where Brittany, because she wants to run this marathon, but she needs more money, so she tries to get a second job. So she's at this interview being a nanny, and the mom or whatever is like, wow, your resume is so impressive. You babysitted for the Obamas? And you're like, oh no! Like, she's clearly like embellished so much. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, that's me. And she goes, well, we just gotta get the technical stuff out of the way. So can you show me how to do CPR on this baby doll? And she's just holding it. And I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm like, oh my God, she has lied herself into a hole. I can't. It's too much. But then she holds the baby. She goes, well, first you want to listen to see if it's breathing. And so she holds it to her face. And then she goes, oh, it's dead. Oh, oof. But yeah, it's very funny. What was my other thought? It's hilarious. It has a couple of those moments where you're just like, oh no, oh no. It's still good, but I don't know. There's those times in film where they just make it it's too real. And you're like, oh God, I can't. I just wanted to escape for a minute. What the fuck? No, I want to feel these feelings. What the hell? And then she kind of goes a bit of a downward spiral, which is kind of sad, but it does happen. And again, and there's this like really, spoilers if you want to watch the movie, I guess, on Amazon Prime. There's this scene at the end where, like, she's very defeated because she, has been losing weight, but she has the struggle of like trying to accept help from others. Because in her mind, they're pitying her, and she's like, I don't need it, kind of thing. So she rejects a lot of her friends and stuff help near the end way of the film, and then she starts gaining a couple of the pounds back. So then she overdoes it, and then she gets was it a tendon fracture or something? And so then it was like 5 weeks before the marathon, so then unfortunately she can't run the marathon anymore. Oh. And so then she's kind of into this dark place, and there's a scene where she's back home living with her sister and her husband. Which I gotta say, just side note, that relationship wasn't made super clear. If there's one critique I have, there was a weird thing, because she's, really close with her sister's husband, but that's because when her dad dies, they move back in, and he was kind of her father figure.
Oh, okay.
So I was slightly confused again on, the age, because they don't really specify, and they also didn't specify that, because I just assumed, maybe he was, the brother or something, and, her sister was the, not step-sibling, but the sister-in-law, when really it's the opposite. That wasn't made super clear. Whatever. But yeah, there's just this scene at the end where there's this bigger lady who comes to his party, and she has a skinny boyfriend. Oh. And, Brittany lashes out. And she's like, oh, wouldn't you rather know, fat people, they don't get to be in love or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, stop. Please stop. But it's because, she's in such a bad place because she's like, I've been working so hard. Because, again, I think when you're trying to lose weight, you have, this goal in mind. So then when you don't achieve it, it just, it's devastating. Yeah. And so then she had to go through this whole other cycle to be like, oh, yeah, I need to be comfortable with me. Because that's kind of, unfortunately, the key to a lot of things. You just have to be comfortable with yourself. Yeah. Be better to yourself. So that's kind of what the film's really about, not her running this marathon.
Interesting. That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. The other critique I have is, and I get where they were going with it, but there's like this weird green screening at the end that I wasn't a super huge fan of. I don't want to spoil it for you, but like, it's very obvious. Like, you'll know. But like, I understand what they were going for, but like, I don't know. I didn't think it was super needed, but that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. And last fun fact, they actually filmed it during because it's the New York Marathon she's trying to go for. They actually filmed during the 2017 New York Marathon.
Oh, cool.
So this lady's running in character in the marathon.
Oh my god.
But yeah, they coordinated with a bunch of the race because they didn't want to obviously interrupt everybody else's experience.
Right.
So yeah, there's like this footage that is, like from the marathon with their character just running with everybody else. So that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, basically we've just expanded our watch list now.
Nice.
And I'm gonna maybe watch Uploaded eventually now.
Yes.
And The Boys. I also found they had a bunch of classic Sherlock Holmes films that I loved as a kid growing up.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah. I noticed that too. There's a lot of like kind of older throwback shows and movies on Amazon Prime, which is cool. Right.
I will say Amazon Prime's very bizarre to me because like when you start scrolling, like I would say the first couple scrolls are like, oh yeah, like these are, obviously their newest stuff, and like some stuff they're like, oh yeah, there's some older stuff, and then you like, I don't know, you get to page 3 or 4 and you're like, what is any of this stuff? Like, what?
I know, it's like deep dives into some really weird random stuff and you're like, okay.
So I mean, I gave shit for Amazon Prime, but you know what? They're starting to get their own stuff. They still have a strange dumpster dive near the end. Not really by the end, but like the middle sections, but like, we'll see. We'll see. What did you watch over the break, Miss Kendra?
There we go. Okay, well, definitely watched Christmas movies as well. And then my parents and I watched the new Wonder Woman movie that came out, Wonder Woman 84.
Yes.
Which was exciting because it was the first brand new movie that has been out for a while, so it was kind of cool getting to watch that. It was different getting to watch it like on your TV instead of in the theater and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I just remember sitting there like in the first few minutes of the film watching this and just kind of like thinking to myself, wow, like this is a new movie. Like this is a whole new experience for me. It's not like this was just made, just released. I don't know. I was just kind of going through that in my head, just kind of letting it sink in. I'm like, ooh, okay, this is interesting. And yeah, like I know you had talked about in one of the previous episodes that you had like you were giving your opinions on Kristen Wiig's character and all that kind of stuff, but I was trying really hard not to go into it with like any judgment or anything like that.
No judgment.
And I really liked it. It was good. I liked how they shot a good portion of the movie on film, so it looks like an 80s movie. Like you can really get that vibe from it. So that was pretty cool. And then I was sad to see afterwards when I was like looking at reviews and stuff that it got a lot of negative reviews.
Yeah, so. I think Twitter of all places. I don't even go on Twitter all that much. But yeah, that's one of the first times I saw somebody comment about the Wonder Woman movie and I was like, what the shit? I was just like, why? I mean, to be fair, I put a lot of pressure on the movie. I wanted to come out. I wanted something new from, you know. But it's just like, I might try to convince my whole family to watch it this Friday with me.
Do it.
Yar, just so I can watch it and form my own opinion.
Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. It just, I guess it just makes me kind of sad, kind of just how people are with movies nowadays. I feel like because of the internet and, everyone has the right to their opinion and stuff like that, but I just feel like there's a lot more tearing down of things and nitpicking things than there is of just like celebrating a movie or just celebrating something that's being shared. And so I guess that really just like kind of put me down afterwards, was like reading all that stuff. There was one good comment that somebody, I can't remember the whole thing, but they were basically like saying like, oh, is this what we've like come to nowadays, is like we can't just appreciate something for what it is. Like everybody has, and I get it too, like especially with the comic books and stuff like that, everybody has such high expectations of stuff, and it's so hard not to go into movies, especially those types of movies, with expectations, because if you're a fan of the comics long standing, you've already got this like image built up in your head of how it should be, and when it, you know, doesn't exceed your expectations, of course you're going to be disappointed, and of course you're going to have opinions on it, but yeah, I don't know.
Without spoiling too much, so was a lot of the comments just like kind of based on like, or sorry, the comments on the reviews, was a lot of them then geared towards the fact that it didn't stay true to the Wonder Woman comics or something along those lines? Or like, what was like the critiques coming from, I guess? Without spoiling too much, because, you know, I'll
try not to spoil too much. Majority of the comments made it seem like the whole thing was kind of hokey, like it was corny. But for me, it's like, well, I think that was kind of the feel they were going for, because when Wonder Woman 84, you think of 80s movies, there is that kind of corniness to it. And, you know, I like that old school humor. That's who I am. So I enjoy that type of stuff. I find it so funny, but I guess a lot of people nowadays are kind of over that humor. It's not really, you know, type of humor that people use nowadays. So they consider it corny. And then when you label something corny, it's considered like cliche or outdated or not cool or whatever. Okay. So I found that those were kind of the comments that were geared more towards it. They made fun of the villain a lot, which is Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, or what's his face from Game of Thrones. But I liked it too. Again, like, maybe because we watch, like, the CW shows and stuff like that, I found him to be kind of more, like, that level of a villain, but he was still, like, he wasn't, like, this, you know, maniacal, like, evil type character, like, but he still had that kind of corny 80s villain, sort of, and I liked that. It was good. Okay.
I also wondered, totally off topic, there's that scene in the trailer every time where Wonder Woman's in that mall. Is that the same mall they filmed the Stranger Things?
I don't think so. I think that's a different one.
I just got that vibe. It
looks very similar. Yeah, it does look very similar.
Interesting. Well, I will definitely have to check it out this Friday just to see what the hustle and bustle is all about.
I would love to know your thoughts on it. And too, the thing I thought about, like, when you, like, I don't know if you've ever watched any of the old, like, Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
No.
But I found the style that they kind of did was very similar to that. So again, like, that whole kind of nod back to the 80s movies and stuff like that, that was cool to me. So that's what I appreciated a lot about it. But yeah.
All right. We'll definitely have to check it out. What was my other thought? I forgot. We also watched an Apple Plus original over the holidays, the On the Rocks film with Bill Murray and oh my god, what's her fucking name? I can't think of her name right now.
Rashida Jones?
Thank you. I was gonna say Maya Rudolph, but I was like, that's incorrect in so many ways. But yeah, my parents, I think they saw a trailer, because I think it also came out like October of this year on Apple Plus. And so my parents were like, oh hey, like that could be really funny. And it's by Sofia Coppola. And so, like, I was like, yeah, it could be funny. But I also was like, I feel like it's not going to be good. Like, I'm sorry to Sofia Coppola, but the last movie I watched of hers was The Bling Ring.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I wasn't a humongo fan of it. So.
I find, though, like, Bill Murray tends to, well, I can't say that of him, but, like, maybe just more dry humor kind of thing. Because I don't know if you've ever seen the one film she's directed called Lost in Translation with him and Scarlett Johansson. No,
but I remember we watched a little bit in school, so I remember it vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to that vibe. I'll have to check it out, because I'm like intrigued after hearing your thoughts on it. Like, I want to watch it myself, but I think it might be similar to that.
Right. Yeah. I think the problem with her films is that when they cut the trailer together, I'm like, oh yeah, like, this is good. Like, but then, like, as a longer format of film, it, like, I don't know, it loses so much. I'm like, I guess the biggest thing I had the issue with the film was that, and again, films don't have to have, like, this lesson. Like, it's not like a 90s kids show where it's like, oh, well, here's the lesson today. Don't steal their lunches, or some kind of bullshit. Or it's
like they throw it in your face kind of thing.
Yeah. Friendship. Pew, pew, pew. But just, like, I walked away from the movie being like, I don't know what the takeaway was. Like, what is the takeaway? I'd also, and I mean, this you could argue as maybe a good or bad thing, but or sorry, I'll give a quick sum of the plot. People are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? So On the Rocks is the story of Rashida Jones, and she suspects that her partner is cheating on her. So her dad, who is a divorcee, goes, oh, we should stalk him and see what's going on. So it's supposed to be like, you get the vibe, it's supposed to be like this weird, funny father-daughter adventure type deal. Mm-hmm. And so there's this scene in the movie, because as you learn, it's weird because he's like very gung-ho on trying to catch her husband cheating, but the fact of the matter is he cheated on her mom, and that's why they're no longer together. So there's that weird kind of thing in the film. And then kind of near the end, you know, Rashida's character asks, like, why, like, did you cheat on mom? And his explanation was, like, he was basically jealous they couldn't go on adventures anymore because they had kids. And I was like, wow, okay. And so that's like, oh, you're a man-child. And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? So that and again, maybe, depending how you look at it, like, Bill Murray played it off, you know, very well being a man-child. But then I lost a lot of, I don't know, not respect necessarily, but I stopped caring about Bill Murray's character after that. So I was like, that's pretty scummy. But then, like I said, all movies don't need to have, like, this, like, here's the lesson today. But they kind of just end the movie and they're like, well, that's that. And, like, no one kind of suffers any kind of repercussions. Which, again, maybe is just my, like, I just weird seated need to have, like, conflict. But it, you know, like, there was this conflict, but then nothing kind of came of it. Yeah. You kind of felt a little empty-handed at the end. Yeah. That's kind of my only major critique. But like I said, like, the trailer of it, like, it seemed great. But then as a whole, it was like, huh. But again, it's also, like, me and my family called it, like, ages ago. And it was also a very slow-paced film. So when you're kind of, like, since we knew, like, where it was going, we're like, can you hurry up and just get there already? Like, we know what's going to happen. Yeah. Like, I don't want to spoil it because you said you're going to watch it. So, but, like, we knew it was going to happen. And it was just so slow getting there. That's a weird one. But again, there's a lot of an Apple Plus I got to watch still. So, just there's too much content. I know. Too much content.
Palm Springs was very funny, though. You mentioned that you watched it. I after you had told me about it earlier, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll watch it tonight. And yeah, I haven't laughed that hard at a movie in a while. So there was just that beginning scene of him getting shot with the arrow. Like, I laughed so hard.
It's also, like, a smart movie. Because now when you, like, rewatch the beginning, you're like, oh my god, so much makes sense now. Yeah. It's crazy. Also, J.K. Simmons he's so funny.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty funny in it.
I know, like, now they're like, oh yeah. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's underrated, but now it's like, nah, man. He good. It is so, it feels like it's Groundhog Day, but, like, I don't want to say, like, a modern take on it, but just more of an updated version, I guess. Yeah. And it's just so funny.
Well, it kind of, like, it's cool that it kind of bends, I get, in some ways, I'm thinking it kind of bends the, like, pattern of the whole, like, stuck in a time loop type theme, where she's so desperate to try to get out of it, and then they do find a way, but the way she goes about doing it is more theoretical than, like, you know, the mystical way, or just like, oh, the life lesson, like what they say at the beginning, where she's like, you have to be selfless to get out of here.
Right? Yeah. And then I also felt so sad because at some point she asks Andy character asks him how long he's been here and, like, what he's done, and he's like, I don't remember. And she's like, oh, how funny. But you can just see it on his face that he clearly, like, he doesn't fucking know. Yeah. And it's really hard. I want to talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil it for people who want to watch it. If you have Amazon Prime, I recommend it. It is hilarious. It is so funny. But yeah, with 2021, we're gonna get new movies. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
They've been really advertising WandaVision a lot lately, I've noticed.
Yeah, it comes out on my birthday.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus, so why not? I will give it a shot. I like how, again, they're like, it seems like they're stuck in some obviously alternate realities and maybe more realities. So I'm down for it. I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Although it's one of those things where, like, you got to give credit to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, it's really well done. But I think at some point they're going to probably start running into some problems, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, right, because they're just trying to expand upon stories upon stories upon stories upon stories.
Yeah.
And they do a pretty good job most of the time in terms of continuity. You know, so it's not like if a character does something in this timeline, it's not going to fuck up other things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just worry that, like, the more they add to it, it's just going to become so almost too big. And then there might not be room for any more expansions. Unless, like, they do a hard reset or something.
Yeah.
Because they've... What was my thought? They've kept kind of one division, like, a secret. Because I don't know when this supposedly happens. And my best guess is after the snap. It's during that time, I guess, maybe?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know? But then, I don't know. That raises a lot of questions. I'm like, so they were both, like, somehow still alive in a set, like, obviously if they're dead, but it's like it just
or
gets
is it,
still
like, all in her mind or something, like...
right? Like, there's a lot of questions, so I am curious to see. Like I said, I'm gonna give it still a shot. I'm gonna see where it goes, but yeah, that's where it's gonna get, like, the weird nitty gritty things. I'm like, what does this happen exactly? What's happening? What's going on? You know, but I mean, again, we don't know how much content we're going to get or how little content we're going to get this year. So whatever they're going to try to release, I'm going to try to watch because...
Yep.
What the fuck, Mom? I know. Was my thought. I know Warner Brothers... I think it's Warner Brothers that's in a wee bit of hot water with movie theaters right now. Because they were like, all of our 2021 releases, they'll be released in theaters, but also on streaming platforms the same day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I know a lot of directors were butthurt. And obviously the film, or not the film industry, but the movie theaters were kind of butthurt as well.
Yeah.
And I know last time I heard their rebuttal was going to be like, well, we're going to make your tickets lower priced then. Because if we're not going to get a cut, fuck you, basically. And I was like, ugh. And I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, but at the same time, like us currently, like, we're still in lockdown, so we can't go to the theaters.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So I do think it's nice that they do come out the same day. Even if it was like, oh, maybe it comes out 2 weeks later or a month later, like, I'd be fine with that too. But I don't know, like, it just kind of sucks. It's like we have no control over if our local theaters are open or not. So I get that, like, you need your cut of the money, the studio needs their cut of money, but, like,
I still don't know why. And again, maybe there's other logistics that are beyond my intelligence for this, but, like, I feel like I don't understand why they haven't tried to implement drive-in theaters more. Like, when I think of majority of the Cineplex theaters that are out there, like I'm saying Cineplex, but, like, any whatever brand of theater there is out there, like, parking lots are usually big enough to be able to fit a good chunk of cars. Right. And I would assume all you have to do is either, like, hook everybody up with some sort of, like, being able to hear the sound through their speakers, so through, like, broadcasting on the radio, and the concession's right there, so people are still paying for concession and stuff like that. They were able, there was that, somewhere just outside of Calgary where they were doing that over the summer, and, like, they would just have a concession thing, and all you had to do was, like, text them your license plate number, and they'd come find your car and deliver your food, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
But, I mean, why not implement that? Because then people still have that, like, enjoyment of getting to go out and go to a theater, but you're still in the safety of your vehicle. You're not, like, harming other people or putting other people in danger. And you can still enjoy a movie. And it's cool to go outside, because, like, when's the last time anybody's done, like, a drive-in theater, like, other than this past year? Like, we should bring those back.
Right. Well, I know also TELUS World of Science is doing that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why. I don't know if it still falls under, like, a gathering of people. So even though they're all in their own separate bubbles, it's still technically a gathering, so they can't have that under the health code. Ooh. lines. My goodness.
Can't be any worse than gathering at the mall, though.
No, we gotta keep those open. And traveling, better keep that open. Was it? I can't remember. I think it was a YouTuber who was commenting on it, how there were some people going on, like, vacations right now.
Yeah.
To, like, I think it was some places in Europe, some places in Mexico. And it just kind of baffles me. You know? Mostly due to the fact it's like, sure, you could travel somewhere, quarantine and be safe, but, like, what the fuck is open? Exactly. Like, I feel like the point, and again, maybe I'm wrong here, the point of travel is to go somewhere, experience what's there.
Exactly.
But if 90% of it is closed, what is the point?
I mean, like, the beach, I guess. Or, like, the mountains or whatever. Like, things in nature. But, yeah, as far as, like, other tourist attractions and stuff like that, for sure. But still, at the same point, like, why are you traveling? We're not supposed to be traveling. We're all supposed to be quarantining.
Supposed to be. Unless you're an actor on a show or a movie.
Yeah.
But they even seem to be really good about quarantining for 2 weeks when they come. Testing constantly happening. You know? Yeah. So it's gotta suck when, like, everybody is, like, trying their best to follow the rules and there's, like, other people who are like, fuck you.
Yeah. Did you hear about Tom Cruise?
I did, yes.
I just love the controversy around that. Like, so many people had so many opinions on it, and I'm like, man, I get it. He didn't have to get that mad, but I get it. Like,
yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not very good at taking sides. Like, absolutely. I think what he said wasn't wrong.
No.
You know? But
and nobody knows, like, the full situation of what's going on there, too, right?
But at the same time, I don't like the fact that it's like, you know, people of higher positions yelling at lower positions. And again, I get that, like, they should be very fortunate to have a job, but that might have been a bit much. And again, like you said, we don't know the context, you know? So. Right? Ooh, oh my goodness. Whew, with that yawn, I think that wraps it up for the day.
Yeah, I think so.
That's how you know when I have a yawn.
Yep, that's our cue. All right, Cinema Peeps. Well, thanks for tuning in to our new video version of the podcast. Let us know what you guys think. We want to interact and have, like, a nice little community of discussion on stuff. So let us know your thoughts on anything we've talked about today. Let us know what you think of the videos, like, video version of this. If you like this, we'll continue to do it.
Yeah, let's make 2021 better somehow. Yes. I don't know how. Anyways, have a happy Tuesday, everybody. And until next week, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey.
Monkey.
And slap. Bam. We did not coordinate.